Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from that big island of Hawaii. There's a lot going on. I went out last night for an hour to see if I saw anything. I saw lots of shooting stars early this morning. I saw them crisscrossing and everything, but I didn't see one UFO tonight. Uh, about an hour and a half that I was outside. And I usually see at least 10. I see this light ship blink at me. I didn't see nothing except shooting stars. But outside of that, people, I want everybody to start looking outside and watching the sky. There's a lot going on, and we need to get a little more evidence. If too much pours out, they won't be able to cover it up. Keep your cell phone on you. Make sure you can film the sky and go out for a half hour every night. It's not going to kill you. Go out between 7 and 11 or 4 and 6. Right before sunrise, you need to be out there, but watch out. There's a lot of, you can start seeing some satellites early in the morning, and you don't want to see them. I mean, you'll see them, but you want to see ships. So try to. My book's out there. You want it for free. UFO Field Manual. Please text me, email me. I'll send you it for free. It's about 200 pages, and I guarantee if you read it and do what I tell you, you'll see a UFO. It's that simple. You got to put the time in, though. All right. Now, the topic today is about real abductions. All right. Not storytellers, not dreamers, not wishful thinking, and not the other word, experiences. We're not talking about experiences. We're talking about real people, real abductions, and some of them never say a word about it their whole life. Some of them are afraid to talk about it. A few people come out and admit it. I can say this because a friend of mine works with 120 people, all doctors and lawyers. They were all abducted. They're all trying to deal with the situation without exposing their job, coming out public, but how to deal with it. I mean, each one of them got different abilities, gifts, or problems from it, and they don't know how to deal with it. So, it's like a child. When they have a problem and they can't go to their parents to talk about it, guess what? It lingers and it affects them half of their life. So these people that have been abducted and don't come out and tell anybody, actually are holding something in and it's suppressing part of their consciousness. So people, this is real. Come on our show. I mean, we'll help you get it out there. We'll help you promote it, and we'll help you go through whatever you need to or think about it, because it's real, people. You're not delusional. You're not on drugs. I mean, if you are, that's a different story. But I mean, I know many people. I was in court going against the phone company, and they said I was heard on a UFO just so that they didn't want to pay me. But the judge himself said, I want to speak to you after everybody leaves the courtroom. And then he told me he was out in the car with his wife, and a ship came over the car and it stopped the car. This is the lawyer, the judge of the court system. So, there's people out there, they don't know how to deal with that information. And it's everywhere, people. It's not in my backyard. It's not in your backyard only. It's everywhere. And it's a matter of getting people to be honest, be real. And these people that have these UFO experiences or worked on them and everything else, they're afraid to come out because the government kills a lot of people. And then the other thing, if they're getting money from the government, they don't want to lose their money. I mean, anybody that comes out, 90% of them are over 65, their pension's like 25 years old, whatever, and they'll come out and say something. But even then, if you have information, it should come out when it's important, like today, not 25, 50 years from now and say, oh, I saw an alien in my backyard. It's not going to help anything. But let me give this over to Tina. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Here's Tina Bird. Greetings, Tina.
Hello, Tommy. Hello, everybody. I'm Tina Bird here from Southampton in the UK. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter. And this week here with Tommy, we're talking about forgotten people and forgotten stories. Things seem to have gone really quiet in the UFO. When things really go quiet or die down, there's normally a reason, a suppression of information, or there's normally an underlying issue. So you're either going to hear something very big very soon, or something untoward's normally happening to quieten people down. But you never know. It could be just people kicking back, getting ready for autumn and collecting their thoughts and getting ready for the end of the year. But normally there's lots of lectures and things like that going around. So if anybody hears of any of them, please let us know. And again, please come on the show if you have answers to previous shows or any questions. And please ask. Yeah, I mean, lots of people in the abduction field. And I watched a documentary today on Walls, is it Paul Anthony Walls or Wallace? And he was talking about the hybridization program, and he was unpacking the narrative from the old books or previous to the Bible and how it related to today's abduction. Nothing's really changed. We're describing now how they described it back then. I mean, these people, same as today, they had contact with a non-human entity, same as they did back then. They came down from the stars, same as they do today. We have, there's lots of things that should be studied and come forward because of what Tommy said. Because of their age, lots to lose. When you've got nothing to lose, and you're like me, you just pass the prime of your life, 50, and you want answers. Or the only reason I came out is because I was looking for urgent answers for medical issues, and I'm trying to get somebody to help you or even listen to you to get help is a huge step. People don't seem to realise that, or they don't want to believe you. They're more so famous themselves, or write books about what other people said, or write books about history, which other people's already written. They don't really want to know about current what's today, and it is the same story of being abduction from abduction from prehistoric times or historical times up to modern day. It's just that back then it was oral instead of like the apocalyptic literature we have today. And that's just, it's the same. It's the same thing. People are taken from their homes, they're put back, they're experimented on, they're hybridized with their children, and some people remember and some don't. Nowadays, because back then people died at a young age, so now people are living longer, and people that are returned do need medical attention in some way. We just don't get that. I think the next step forward for anyone that's been abducted is getting someone to believe you, make an abduction report, and finding someone that could give you help or help for free or medical attention. These are the things I think everybody should get. But like olden days when people reported it or wrote about things and it was oral traditions, they died and it wasn't put down to nothing. Nowadays, you've got so many missing persons report for missing people that are just taken far as they are, taken from family, taken from their homes at night and never returned. The bodies are never found. They disappear in front of people, what have you. So there's a huge field that is just not being looked at here properly. If people are just starting to come out and say, yes, there's other civilizations and there's different types of craft and different tacs. Well, who's flying and where are these things being built? Where are they getting the technology? How far are they coming? What are their purpose? Then on top of that, you have the people with the most information about abductees. They're getting no help, no recognition, no regression. And these people, we hold so much information. Don't you think that would be beneficial to mankind? Or do you think that'd be beneficial to the world or beneficial to mankind, to humans, to us, more than it would be, making guns and laser beams? Surely if you had advanced, I want to say technology, information, that's worth more than, that information, it could help save the human life. So there's lots of things that do need seriously looking at. Carl Sagan wrote something years ago about studying the stars and how they thought that people from other civilizations far, far, far away from here were visiting us many, many, many thousands or hundreds or millions of years ago, and it's still going on today. There is a purpose. So we just don't know what that is. But I'm going to go back to Tommy. We'll read a few comments in our chat room and give Tommy a chance to reply to any of that. Sorry.
Well, people, Tina is one of the key people that I deal with because she's the most important, I feel, right now, that has more experience, more wisdom about it because she's a little more aware of things that happened as well. I'm sure she doesn't remember everything, but she's doing something really incredible soon, very soon, and we'll get that. We'll be able to see that, which will be incredible. She's going to be hypnotized in front of cameras and people. I wish I could be there to
That
be
was
with her,
due
but
to happen Sunday. Sorry, Tommy, that was due to happen this Sunday just gone. Unfortunately, I had a loss in my family this weekend, and the person who's performing it and the group of people I booked it with had double booked me and forgot they'd booked me to do this weekend. So it was a bit of a
so
mix-up. So when I'm free next, they're going to do it, but unfortunately, I probably wouldn't be able to go because of my
your job.
my my dog passing.
So you don't think you can set it up in about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe?
But I'm back to work now. I'm off this week. I specifically booked this week off for the hypno because I booked it with them to
Oh
have it done
man.
this Sunday. And they forgot they booked it, and because it's a children's holiday and double booked, and it just took priority over me, so it didn't happen. Unfortunately, these things do happen. So I'm a bit gutted it didn't happen. But
Well, it'll happen
there you go.
soon,
So just gonna,
hopefully. But look, I like I said, I deal with her because we get along, we agree on a lot of things, not everything. But what she deals with
he
is
was
the
my
most
dog was
important part.
10 years. Sorry, John. My dog was 10 years, 8 months, and 27 days old. Siberian Husky. He wasn't that old.
He's a beautiful dog too. Oh, we all go. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing this workshop, and it's basically you could kind of say it's why we live life to die. Uh, it's going to be one of the most important workshops ever done. It's going to have so much more information that nobody can talk about except, and I'm not making that up. As you just read what I put up there, a little bit about it. All right, and I'm talking about actual experiences I had. I was never taken on a ship. I can't be. All right, so that's the only thing I won't talk about ever. But I don't want to talk about the UFO stuff until I'm done with all the physical and spiritual side of it first, and then the last workshop day or two, whatever, I'll be doing the UFO stuff. But I want to kind of keep them separate because why I'm doing the workshop is because people are living in a life where the religion's not helping them, where their truth that they say they have is not helping them, and the government's taking over everything. So it's hard to maintain a balance and be in a good state with all that going on. This virus thing, can't talk about it. I want to get this video taken down, but I learned something really, really incredibly bad. And text me, call me, whatever, because I just found out today, and I can't put it online. They'll blow me up. It's actual facts. Doctors came out, did all this incredible research with all kinds of microscopes and lasers and you name it, infrared, ultraviolet, and all these things. But I'm not going to say much about it because you can't. When somebody's sick, you got to tell them to go to the doctor, to the hospital. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go bypass that word and get back to this UFO thing. Now, I listened to about 10 lectures yesterday, and they're all saying the same thing. Hold on. Somebody's trying to get in. Let me just see if it's Sasha. Could be. Maybe. Here it is. You can come on. You can come on. I gave you the link, didn't I? Sasha, if you need the link, text me back, all right? Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to put the link. And now this is anybody out there that wants to come on a show, ask a question, or has something really important to say that's not man-made. Let me copy this and put it up for anybody. All right. So people, I've been getting back to where I was. I was doing this thing on the internet, listening to all these different shows, and they all are talking about the same thing. It's either wow, the tic tac might be this, might be that. Nobody wants to say it's a UFO. Nobody wants to say it's from another world. Maybe it's from inside the world. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. But nobody in the UFO world, including Luis Elizondo, I've been bugging to get in touch with him for a while. Nobody's going to say anything 100% is real. I mean, I
Tommy,
could
well,
tell.
I've got on that note, you don't need famous people. After my dog passed, the next night I was in the garden. I was out there, I couldn't come in the house, just talking to my neighbour, and it got dark. It was probably about 11 o'clock at night. And I said to my neighbour, it's just she goes, I'm fascinated with things that you put online, you know, all your pictures. And so there is the picture. This thing was like an orb. There it is there. And this thing, it was huge, and it floated across in the sky. It was quite high up. It was really high up. And in the atmosphere up there, there it is there. And I snapped it with my phone. I said to her, look at it. She goes, it's moving. She's not making any noise. It's not flashing like a plane. I said, just look up for 5 minutes and you'll see something. And these things that often fly over at high altitudes, no wings, no lights, no nothing. They're like white orbs. They look like from the ground. And I just
Yeah,
took a picture of
yeah,
it quickly. She said, Tina, what is that? I said, well, if you don't know what it is, I don't know what it is. It's a UFO then, isn't it?
you don't have any idea how far high it was, do you?
Oh, it was really
Were
high.
you
Higher
able?
than what the planes go. It's higher than what the planes go.
Well, I mean, you couldn't make out any actual details on it, though, right?
No, because it was no, it's no, no. It was like a round light. You could from here look like a round
Oh,
light, not
okay.
like a plane. And
All
it was
right.
the pattern, and it moved across the sky, like did a S shape across the sky. Didn't go in a straight line. It
Oh, wow.
was just moving like
Uh,
a bee, like that. Just
you didn't try taking a video of it with your cell phone?
no, I couldn't. I just had a job taking a picture of it because it kept moving and stopping, so it was quite quick. And then it came, it shot off, and it stopped. It was like moving like that, and it shot off. I said, "What the hell's that?" Tom, it was
Well,
so quick. I said, "Well, if
I
you don't
tell
know, and I
you,
don't know."
I still tell you, I still think they're keeping an eye on
Oh,
you.
there you go. See that? Can you see that?
See, that's why if you did a video, you could catch it moving a little bit better.
Yeah, it was. What it was, we were stood in the garden. The time I got my camera on, it shot here. Literally, I said to her, "Just look up." She looked up, and I said, "Look, no, look." And I grabbed my phone, put it on, and kept pushing the button for the camera. It took a couple of seconds, and I snapped a couple of pictures. And as I went to go to video, by then it had shot off.
Here's what you should
It
do.
was that quick. It came.
Every time you're going to go out at nighttime, set your camera, even if you're going to use photo, put it on 10 shots per second. It'll shoot 10 pictures in a row.
I could barely turn my phone on, let alone work technology, Tommy. What I want is some lovely person to donate me one of these 24-hour recording cameras and just point
Well,
the sky
I
above the
just ordered
footage.
I just ordered 3 more cameras. One I want to keep focused at the sky. I got 3 on my house already. So yeah, I'm on top of that. I'm when I get them. Who knows? It could take another month before I get half of the cameras that I ordered, but
But the
I
best
got
thing,
them
I
pretty
wasn't
reasonable.
alone. It was witnessed by 2 other people because my partner was out there,
Well,
I was out there, and my neighbour Lynn across the road was out there. So 3 of us saw it.
that's all an incredible event. Now, somebody like Elizondo should be talking to you what you saw instead of these people like.
They didn't even need to talk to me or any of my neighbours. All they got to do is come out, stand outside my affair, and just look up. That's all you've got to do.
Well, like I said, you always tell me you have something over you. I think, oh, I saw a ship over the house last night. It's always, so it's not like a once in a lifetime thing for you.
So, right, I don't live far from an airport. So I've lived.
Well, that's not an airplane. You know that. So we're
No,
not.
so I've lived around airplanes all my life, and I lived on a military port. So I know what vehicles look like. I know what airplanes look like. I know what incoming aircraft look like. I know the lights, the sound, the noise. It's not an aircraft because they follow landing patterns here over the houses, which I've watched for the last 50 years. This thing was above. It looked like it was above. It dropped down. It just stopped, and it did like it looked like an S shape, like a bee wandering about, and then it just went off in its own direction. It didn't follow any flight path. It shot up and down and just went off.
So, Tina, how are you? You feel like going over a small part of your story at least?
Yeah, sure. What would you like to know?
Let's start with one that you remember being awake in the ship. That
So
any part of that, and you can talk as
different
long as
ones,
you
because
want.
normally I go for the ones that are traumatic, the horrifying ones. But
No, just go. No, we don't have to go
for
to
other people,
horrifying.
no. This right. So I call it like a travelator, a conveyor belt. So all I remember is a white black flash of light, and I don't remember nothing. And then all of a sudden, this particular time, there was this. I didn't wake up. It was like I opened my eyes. It was like a burning light, and I opened my eyes, and there was this huge, like I was staring at the sun, and it just, you could everything looked black behind it because it was so bright. But I couldn't move. I couldn't move my. All I could do was just. I wasn't aware that my face was hanging. I wasn't aware that I was up in the air. All I could do was look forward. I didn't have no depth, or all I knew was this bright light. And it took me a couple of seconds. I was trying to shut my eyes, and I couldn't. And all of a sudden, I seemed to move sideways to my left. And as this happened very slowly, the light didn't get dimmer, but I was coming away from the light, and it was black for a couple of seconds. Like it was still there. The light was still there, but I was moving to the left of it, and it was black, and I couldn't squint. I couldn't, if you got your face and you like tried to move your face to squint, you have to move your face to squint. I couldn't move any of my face. My eyes they were open, and I don't think I could move my eyeballs a lot. I couldn't go like that. I could just, so my eyeballs were like frozen forward, so I didn't really have a choice. I could only see forward, and couldn't feel anything, couldn't smell anything. And as I moved along, I seemed to go a bit further out, and it was like the blackness had eased, but it seemed a bit blacker. But the light was over there, and I did from what I felt like, it went like a down and like an S or like a C or like a weird S. It came down like that. Anyway, I didn't realise that I was on this conveyor belt, and I didn't realise there was anyone next to me other side because I couldn't move. I could only see forward. I didn't know if I was on the floor. Didn't know if I was floating 100 feet up. I didn't know where I was. Didn't think about where I was. And all I could see was what was directly in front of me. And as we moved again, it turned to the side. And that's when, as I turned like that, so I'm frozen like that, so my whole body is just turning. I don't know, it's turning. And then I see this guy. So I'm here. There's the man next to me, which I can't see. And as I turn like that, out of this corner of this eye, and it turned like that there, so I was stuck in this position. And all I saw was this man's head. He had like a silver, I want to say silver suit, it was like a man's jacket suit, and brown short cut hair, and I just saw the side of his face. And there, that, and I could only see that direction. And then we tilted slightly, but as we tilted slightly like that, I could then out there here in this vision, I could see the other people. So I could see him here, and then I could see all the other people behind me there. I couldn't see the people right next to me here, but all the women, the people, and they're all like frozen, looking forward, and their clothes on. I didn't see any children there, and they were awake. Well, their eyes were open, like mine, I presume. But they couldn't move like me, and they just looked like they were awake but asleep. And as this thing literally turned me like that, as we turned very slowly, I think we must have been moving all the time. I'm not sure. I remember we was going in the left direction because I could see from this light, this tower had some little beams on it that looked black, but because of the light. And then as we moved down, you could see this like black, it looked like a warehouse. And as I moved around and I saw this guy next to me, and he turned, as I turned like that, kind of turned like that, and I saw him. I could just like, then when I went forward again, I couldn't see down, so I couldn't see down my body, I couldn't see my toes, and I couldn't see all I could see was this vision down. So I could have been 12 to 18 to 20 feet in the air. It's hard to judge. I didn't know. And then at the back, where the light was over there, it was black, but it was like a dimness, but you could see. You could see. And it was like a little cockpit. And it's divided into two. Yeah.
Something's going on. You're cutting out every couple of words, and it's like stopping, and it's really bizarre. I don't know how it's coming out mainstream, but mine's like freezing, and I'm losing every like 10th word you say. I hear a sentence and then it stops. You don't have any kind of problems going on where you are, do you? That you know of?
No.
Nothing's happening to me.
I've got full signal. You frozen a little once or twice, but I've got.
Oh no, I always freeze every 10 minutes, but you're freezing, and it's like on and off in between all your sentences. I don't know if our show's
Let me try and find my Geiger. I was going to turn my Geiger count on. Unless we're having problems here. There's nothing my end. All my signals on. Oh, there's my Geiger count. Hold on.
Check your magnetic field and see how that's doing too. Maybe it's high. I don't know.
Nothing. No, it's beeping like mad. Not a dicky bird. Oh, there you go. It's going now.
Radioactive or at the top?
At the bottom is there. Smoke test is radiation. There it goes. Going to 16, 17. Can you see that there?
Okay, go down further. Go down to your arms.
Nothing.
Near your heart?
Nothing. How can that be then? I've got nothing there. Nothing's flashing.
That's bizarre.
Nothing. And then
that's kind of bizarre as well. The electromagnetic field, do you have any or no?
No, nothing. It's just radiation there.
Oh, really? That's just, like you said,
see
so
there?
bizarre. Yeah.
You can see there.
Where is my Geiger counter?
So it's now got no interference apart from the side of my head there. Oh!
Where's that now?
Right in front of me. Oh, that's electrical magnetic field saying it's harmful.
Okay. See, that's what I'm worried about.
It's 14. It's dropping. When I get close, it's. So it's nothing. But my TV is nothing.
Well, mine's blinking and it's 140.
I've got nothing. No, it's only then. It just waved in front of me when I waved it in front of me. Nothing.
But I never come up with any radiation, that's for sure.
I've got no, apart from that, and I've got nothing else. There's no other readings apart from that one that keeps beeping. But as regards to my book, I'm just going to answer a few questions. As regards to my book, the Bonded, I'm withdrawing all my books from the market, guys, because I had a problem selling them on Amazon and someone else is selling them in Greece. So I'll be withdrawing my books for a month or two from Amazon, and what I do is I'm going to rebrand my books, and then I'm going to release my my book, The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction. So you can read about my abduction and my account. Now I was just trying to find my bit of paper, but I couldn't find it. So, but as soon as I've withdrawn my books, they're going to go back out and be rebranded. I do have copyright on them and licenses. So I'm not quite sure why this is happening. But yeah, and just to answer Richie's question, you don't actually get away. I should imagine the amount of people that have actually physically gone missing. You don't get away. They put you back. You can't move when unless they allow you to walk about their ship or their craft. You cannot move. You're physically incapable of moving, so you can't get away. So that should answer anyone. But if anyone says, "Oh, I got away from aliens," good luck with that. Then they have to be on the earth, because when you're up there in on the ship, you can't move. So
Well, Mr. Wolf, there, they don't eat everybody. They eat some people. All right. When they discovered the base where the Greys were, when they had to blow up the whole base, they found 140,000 skeletons there. They've been taking people, but they don't eat everybody. They do a lot more research on people. The Greys do with DNA. Not DNA, the blood, semen, and ovaries. So yeah, they don't eat everybody. They do eat them, but they don't eat everybody. So when you say, wait a minute, no, they pick out the people they want to eat. They probably take a lot of the homeless people, a lot of the people in the army, in the wars and stuff, and they don't operate or take them as body parts. They just use them as
there's
food.
millions of people that go missing. Like I said earlier,
Yeah.
every day people are missing in front of people, and they're never returned or found again.
So it's not a good thing, and it's.
So sorry, I was just telling you about my encounter on a ship and what happened on there on a different time, and obviously didn't want you to know that.
Well, let's get back to. I want you to just keep going, because I want people to hear some real abductions instead of, oh, I met the good aliens and they took me up there and they showed me.
Yeah, so when I was in this on this conveyor belt thing, I was looking down into this pit, and then it looked like it had walkways, but these little white glowing beings, people call them greys. I don't know why they call them grey. I keep saying that these things are glowing white, and they look like a bit like jelly babies. There are a couple of different types. There's a taller one that works to every 2 or 3. He was down the front. The one that knew me was down the front, and I didn't know it was him because they all kind of look alike. It wasn't until I moved along and it stopped and looked down. The one that knew me, and I stopped looking at my eyes. So you look at your eyes, you look frozen, and I just saw this grey mist fill my face and head, and then I wasn't seeing, and then I was connected to the one closest to me. So when this grey mist is like it's like a two-way Wi-Fi. So when he connects to me, I can hear him and he can hear me, but you can have like a individual link or telephone call to him, and he's wired to another one. So I can either go through him and listen to all of them at once in one big exchange, if you like, or just him individually. And he chose to keep this between me and him because he realised I was awake because I could connect to him, but he didn't immediately want to alert the others. I think he was observing me. And something happened once I connected to him, and I must have think the 2 or 3 little white ones, I could see out my eyes again, had physically stopped. So this is the taller one that is me in front of me, just to my right, probably about 20 feet away, I guess. And so but the other. And he was he wasn't directly kind of looking at me. He's like kind of side to nearly on looking at me, but he wasn't moving. And all of a sudden I realised the 2 little beings, there was 3 working with him, 2 little beings that were closest to him stopped what they were doing and physically looked at him. And I think that gave it away to the others. And it was all happened in a couple of seconds. And the others, the 2 little ones, either stopped hearing his instructions or heard that he turned himself off from them. And now, in that couple of seconds, as I could look, there was like black panels, and these white beings, there's like these black panels, they kind of all look the same, but in rows, different rows. And I couldn't see over them because of my height, but I could see once they looked black, but when they were touching him, the light or the panel was flashing and you could see the light reflect off their skin. One of them was holding something, the one that was just 2 or 3 panels behind the back, that one that saw me. And as I couldn't move my eyes, but as I could see in my field of vision in front of me, there were 2 bulbous looking creatures that looked like blue. For what I could see from the light was like a mark here, and it went down. There was one on a like jelly baby tummies, really sprawly, skinny little legs with huge knobbly knees, but they looked short. They didn't look right. The bulbous heads and tiny. I got the feeling they were very old, and they looked like they were like touching each other. They were stood so close to each other, but they were right at the back. They weren't doing nothing. They were observing everything else that was going on. And this little one that became agitated, the one that was like four these compartment things back, stopped what he was doing. It was they moved so fast. It was so quick. This thing, I'm not sure if it jumped or ran, but as it ran, it kind of jumped up. I'm not sure if it touched me with a fork or a stick or a wand, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, or his finger. But it touched me there, and as he touched me there, I'd stopped seeing everything. But in that couple of seconds, as he went to jump, the one that knew me, it was trying to connect with me, and he was trying to tell them that I was from an old line. I was what they would call a seer or what have you, but I was from an old line that they thought was extinct on Earth. He was trying to communicate that to them, but in that second he touched my head, and all I saw was a giant black spider in my head. And my memory started to dissolve after that, and I was trying to all I was like, remember, and then it kind of dissolved. And then after like a couple of days of fighting with it, my head was tingling. I kind of remembered it a little bit. But yeah, tell me.
Tina, John wants to come on.
Yeah. Should we bring him up?
Hello.
Hello, John.
Hey, John.
How you doing?
So you're out and about, I take it?
Yeah, I'm waiting on some pickups.
Did you have a question you wanted to ask her?
No, I'm just checking in.
Oh, okay, no problem. You can hear when I this alien hat. That's cool.
Oh my god.
So what I wanted to say about today, we've been dealing with this stuff for a long time now, and we are open for questions. What I want to do is I'm trying to get a few people I trust to do a UFO conference. All right. Now, I only have about 4 or 5 people, but I'm going to say truth only. And I'm not going to invite anybody as a speaker.
John, what are you doing? How do you like mine and Tommy's show? Let me ask you a couple of questions. How do you rate our show, and what do you like about our show?
Do what?
How do you rate our show, and what do you like about it?
It's good. I've been here a long time.
We know that. So you still do? Is he still doing that music?
Yeah, they cut down my 161-year-old oak tree.
No.
Oh, right. You said that.
It's got to stop. I was going to show it to you, but
that's awful. Why did they do that? They should not be cutting down trees.
It was leaning. The roots were cut, and it was leaning towards the house.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a reason there.
That's sad. That is so sad.
It's not like he just wanted to bug you. But here's the thing. I wanted to get into this, that we have to bring out some important information. The only thing that's going to influence the UFO world right now is something really important. We can't hear the same old stories from these people telling make-believe stories, to me, what I call them. Anybody that has a real experience, please come out now. All right? Don't worry about it. You're not going to be put in a nut house. I mean, just come on our show. If the government's not going to be listening, well, if the government's listening, they'll just want to know what's really going on. But they're not arresting. They're not going after people for saying it now, because everybody's filming UFOs. All they'll say is, oh, that's just a sunspot. They'll say whatever they want. But anything, you got anything real, please come on, call us, text us, whatever. All the pictures I shot with Sergio 18 were copyrighted, and he kind of disappeared into the woodwork. And over that, I don't have copyrights to them, so I can only use certain ones. I can't use all of them, but I could show them, but I can't make money off them. I mean, I'm not charging any money anyway, not for UFO pictures. But we need to be aware that everybody has a camera. Everybody's filming things right now. He's doing a picture show for us. John, you got anything
Tommy,
important to ask us?
Tommy, you want to put together a big one-off, what do you call it,
John,
talk?
I'm gonna hide you for a second, John. All right. So here's the thing. Yeah, I want to do one. All right, and I have Jeffrey Seelman, and he's one of the top exorcists in the United States. He works with aliens. He works with angels. He's a really incredible person. I listened to one of his workshops yesterday when I found out that he was in the army and all that stuff that went down. Sean David Martin said he'll come on my show as well. He's the one that discovered Area 51. He was in jail. They were trying to kill him and all kinds of things. He said, "Oh, come on." So I have a friend who deals with the angels. I didn't get in touch with her yet. She agreed with a lot of things I said. So I don't know. I got to feel her out and see if I want to bring her on, if she's like kind of in the place where we're going to be. I mean, obviously you and me. But here's the thing. It's going to be, each of us will have our time frame. We'll talk about a specific topic. And it's going to be truth that we can give you at 100%. Not storyland, not fairy tale land, not dreamland. All right?
Guys, come up with questions. Have questions for me and Tommy, really, because that's what we're here for, to answer your questions. If you want to ask us, we're doing this so you can enlighten yourselves and get a better understanding, Tommy.
Right. Her question's a little bit different than mine that I can answer. But again, if you want real truth about things, like aliens don't need everybody. I mean, aliens are friends with everybody. They're not loving, compassionate beings like some people say they are. So there's a lot of things that are misconcept ideas being fed to the public, trying to brainwash them, telling everything's good, making people think, oh, well, with this virus, they'll come down and protect us. No, they won't. There's a lot of things happening, people. If you open your eyes, you got to watch TV. You got to listen to the news. Oh, it's all baloney. No, there's truth in it. You see a building get blown up. It's blown up. They're not just making believe that, because you can go there the next day and the building's not there. When 9/11 happened, it was real, people. It wasn't make-believe. The things that went on around it were kind of covered up and made up. But see, that's where you need to find it and search out the truth with everything you think you know is truth. I always say your truth, my truth, and God's truth. And you should always look. As far as the UFO world, it's easy to get your own. Go online, spend some time on there. Watch these people that put videos up and stuff, then analyze them yourself. Tell me, realize if 1 out of 1,000 videos of a ship is real, guess what it proves? It's real. All right? It's not like, oh, well, none of them are real. No, you're going to find a lot that are way beyond any technology that we have to create it or do it. Now, there's a show on TV that's called Real or Not, and they try to disprove or try to recreate any UFO sighting. I mean, I don't want to get into detail right now, but they do a lot of work, spend a lot of money to try to recreate something. And then when they recreate it, they say it's not real. It's like saying, if I make a car that goes down the road and I make one that goes down the road, yours isn't real? Of course it is. Just because you can simulate it or copy it doesn't mean mine's not real.
So I just had a question pop up from on my screen. I think it's from Sasha. I wasn't sure. I don't know what race. I don't. When I was taken, I'm not powy with them, and I don't get to sit in ourselves and talk and get names. I don't know what race. I can only describe what I saw and what I saw in their link. So I don't know. They didn't give me a name to the race. All I know that there were the ones in my room were little white glowing beings about the size of an 8 to 10-year-old kid, very small, very thin. They are human-like, but they are not human. And the ones on board the ship are the same, but they're a bit taller and they are slightly different. Again, they have glowing white skin. To me, they weren't grey. That thing I thought that was going to eat me that came over the thing that. I don't even think that's the right. I'm not quite sure what even that creature. It was like a hybrid creature, but they didn't give me a name to a race, so I can't say, oh yeah, they were from the planet Zog or what have you, because I don't know. How much of this do you think you're in control of? There's another question just popped up there. So people don't realize that they're actually when you're abducted, you don't know why you're abducted or how it started or when. For me, I only remember what I remember. I remember what happened to me as a kid. Certain things are just stuck in my head, and you don't control it. But when it wasn't till I've got to say my late 30s or early 40s that I realised that about the link. It's something it was very familiar to, and something I remembered all my life, and that's how they communicated to me. So when people say, how do they talk? They use your vocabulary, or when they look over to you and they're looking close into your eyes, that's to see if you can link with them. And when you're in their link, there's different links, and I think you have to be in that link a few times to realise each ship has a different link, or the bigger ship, the different links, and they have a way of blocking you. Or if you're really in the midst of their link, in the middle of their link, they can't. It's a two-way mirror. You can see everything and all of them in their what's going on type of thing, and it's so fast, but they can hear you listening in their link, and they have different narratives on how they control that. But I didn't realise it wasn't until I became emotionally upset, because they watch you on every level, that do you think they're using their mind tech to control? I don't know about mind tech, but hold on, just looking at another couple of questions. 1 second, I'm just going to answer. So different types of creepy aliens are there? I don't know. So I don't know how many. I'm just going to answer this one quickly first. I don't know how many, but I presume a lot. And if oral histories are a lot to go by, the artists that have visited us before here, we may not even have come from this planet. So we may be the aliens on our own planet, and we've been on their territory the whole time. I don't know. What was the question again, Sasha? Sorry, it was mind control. I think they can't control everybody. You have to be susceptible, I should imagine. Yeah, I think basically we are screwed. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you either have to be, from what I've seen, you either have to be open to it, and I didn't know I was open to it because I didn't know it would take me until, when you remember it as a kid, it kind of, everyday life comes out and it kind of fizzles away. And not till it happens again, you remember certain aspects. But yeah, I don't know if it's about mind control. It's about what they're open to showing you, or what they want to show you, or if you can. I'm just surmising that, because when I was in their link, the only way they could, I'm not sure if they physically. So when I was in the link and I was touching the pod and I was linked to all these little girls, all the little girls' voices, and I was touching that pod, they couldn't get into my link with the babies. There's no way they could have done it. So I either took my hand off the pod or they did something. And when I was distraught, they did something to distract me. But when I was distraught, they couldn't put me back. So when we have this emotion, which is they don't have emotions like we do. They're interested in instincts, behavior. They don't like our behavior. I do know that they do not like our behavior. But pheromones and hormones is something like that they can gauge and judge. But we are unpredictable behavior to them. And that's something they don't possess, I don't think. Okay, just let me read a few more questions, guys, and I'll get back to you. 10 minutes, 10 maybe. It's kind of humans. Oh yeah. So I don't think they're disguised as humans. What I must say, because I haven't seen any on a ship. I was with my mum one day, probably about 20 years ago, and we were in the Common by Southampton. It's a huge like a park, and I just got out of the car. I was going to lay some flowers at the old cemetery there. And I didn't even. There was no one in the road. Couldn't see anybody, and I was sat in the car just before I got out of the car. Out of nowhere, my brain was going red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert. I'm like, what the hell's going on? All my senses were heightened, and all it was like, oh, you're going to be murdered, be aware, kind of thing. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And as I got out of the car, instantly I looked across, and my mum was staring at me. She said, we looked at each other a couple of seconds, like. She said, I feel terrified. What's going on? And me and my mum both shared this. And as I turned around, there's this huge, tall, thin, white-looking, I want to say, look, probably Norwegian with a tracksuit on. I don't know, but very, very white. Strolled came out the bushes, like walked at an incredible pace. He was nearly 7 feet tall, if he was an inch. Very tall, white-looking man. Didn't even give me and my mum a second look, and he was like plug, 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 plug at a pace. And he climbed over this thing and went into a bush and kept going. Yeah, I had to go around the other side of the car and comfort my mum. I thought we were both gone, as I thought he was going to come and do something to us. But I didn't know he was there. It wasn't until I had this thing, then I looked to see that he was there. So I don't know. Let me just read a few more comments, people. Grey, what a boring colour. Grey is bouncing. I didn't see, like, again, when they're in, I haven't seen any during the day, I don't think. Well, actually, at night when they were in my room, I can understand why people call them grey. But if you're in the darkness and you just got moonlight in and your curtains aren't shut, they would probably look grey. If you've got a light of any kind, their skin is glowing white. The one I saw that was literally, if I could have moved and touched it, I would have touched it. It was like 2.5 feet away from me. That's how close I've gotten. These things lean right over, so I've had a really good look at them. They are, their skin is like a milk bottle, transparent white. That's what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. But there is a couple of different skin tone ones. If you put them in a line, they're like jelly babies. You couldn't really tell them apart. But yeah, they're kind of like that. And I didn't see any different coloured ones. No, not like different, like red or things like that. Let me just read a couple more comments. Sorry, people. Every abduction is different. If you had to give a personal, I didn't quite get it. If I had to give a personal what? What was that? Sorry, the message flashed on so quickly and flashed off. Sasha, tell me a question again, please, because it just flashed on and flashed off. I didn't get to see the question fully. It said, if I had to give a what? Was it a personal rating? I'm not quite sure. The creed need to live by tinfoil, beware of the Bible. Okay. There was no. They don't have hair, from what I saw. General public service announcement. Oh, right. Okay. So if I had to give out a warning to the public, to new abductees. So anyone who thinks that they've been abducted probably are. And all these people that say, oh, I don't believe in aliens, or I wish I was abducted. One, I think you're nuts, because nobody in their right mind would want to put themselves voluntarily through that. The two, you've probably been abducted already. I think, if not all, 95% or over many years, that at some point, I think every human being possibly has and doesn't even remember, or doesn't have a recollection, or doesn't have capacity in the brain to remember that they've been taken. So from the scale of people I saw up that, if they're up that day and night and all over the country, all over the world, I should imagine that a good 90% of the population has been abducted, if not more, and probably don't even know it or remember it. If people do feel that they've been abducted, I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't put all my bits and pieces together until I've contacted, like, some things over the years, some things that you never forget. You know that they're not right. They're in the room with you. They've come through the wall. There's nothing. That's not right. But speak to someone in UFO field. Now they have these abduction reporters or case people in different UFO clubs and things like that. Try and find one of them. They at least listen to you, and you can get it off your chest. And if you have injuries, like seek medical attention. And you don't have to tell your doctor you've been abducted last night. Just say this is wrong. It wasn't until I left it a bit late and I was vomiting blood and my partner was vomiting. We had all these issues and internal damage that we had to get medical attention. And when you're deteriorating health like that at such a rate, it's so worrying. And you can put it to that. Thought you experienced it if any ways prevented them. So prevention. So now I could be, but if they would come to get me now, like one of the last ones before, I saw him in my mum's when I was at my mum's house. I'm like, kind of take me. I wasn't really bothered. That's one of the first time I ever saw a wrinkled one. But he was like a wrinkly brownie kind of, but he looked very old. Excuse me, I'm so tired. But so I wasn't bothered. But now I think if you got some type of electrical magnetic field, it's not good for human beings. A lot of that pulse around your bed, that would keep him away, I should imagine. But that's a guess, and that was something I was actually looking at doing, because I know they didn't. Is it sonar or something like that? But they don't like. But unfortunately, I do live not far from an airport. I don't want to bring a plane down.
I have somebody I know who has one of the most places to go to if you want to see abductions, and there's aliens, creatures, and everything there all the time. All right, he allows people to come out there. All right, he handcuffs his wife to bed sometimes to keep her from getting abducted. He does a lot of stupid things. I don't think
that would see. Now, before my first experiences with a bright white light, the one that shot towards me, you don't remember nothing, or you just see it, or the precognition, the precursor. Now I recognize it. Before, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you think something's wrong, or you thought someone's breaking into your house, something's not quite right, and you couldn't figure out what it is, and you search the house and you feel really unsettled. You've either been taken before and you recognize the signs, but you don't know, you haven't put it together. That is what's happening. Now, if I wake up in the middle of the night and like I'm awake and I'm alert as hell, and it's like they're either coming to get you or they're putting you back, and it's like you are awake, and then the flash of light gets you. Once that flash of light gets you, you can't arm yourself. You've got you haven't got a millisecond. Once that light touches you, you're buggered.
For me personally, I'm protected. I can't be abducted. And I got all my reasons why. But I was 12 years old. I had my friend coming over my house, staying over my house at night. And we heard a bunch of noises. So we went down and we saw this thing walking around in the bottom floor of my house. So we ran up and got baseball bats. And we went down to chase it. We weren't afraid of anything, especially when I was little. So we chased it. It went right to the door. And it went outside. Within 5 minutes, we saw the ship take off from the back of my yard. So they're not doing the same thing. It wasn't a gray. It was a different kind of creature. It was the same one James Gillen saw. He gave it his alien friend a name. I think he calls it Percy or whatever he calls it. But it wasn't. I don't know whether it was friendly or not. But we chased it out of my house. So and then we saw the ship take off. But there's a lot of different races coming here doing different things. They all have their own particular agenda.
I mean, sure. We were, from what I've seen, if they put us here, they might be upset that we're here just on a planet. And we've been here many hundreds of thousands of millions of years. They're a bit sick and tired of us. So we don't know enough. We don't know enough about our own history or pre-Diluvian flood history. We don't know enough. We just don't know enough about humanity.
Well,
with that note, I'm going to say goodbye in a second because my partner's like, time to go.
All right. Okay, Tina, I'll let you say goodbye.
Well, guys, I love talking with Tommy, and I love the questions. Please, guys, keep the questions coming. Next week when we're on here, write down all your questions and bring them on next week's show. And if you want to come on the show, Richie or Sasha or anybody else, come on the show. Make sure you have a good question for us. We can talk to you. And but I'm Beniti Girl here in England, in the UK, in Southampton. Sorry, I've not been up to it. Yes, and I'll be shopping in my bedroom. Yeah, get little buggers. But I've had a loss in my family, and it's devastated me. So I've not been with it, and it's going to take a while. But for me this week, for Tommy and you guys, thank you, and I shall speak to you all again next week. Tommy, bye bye from me in
Well,
Southampton
it's
in the
always
UK.
a pleasure, Tina. Till
Bye
next
guys,
time.
bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Tommy. Next week it is. Bye bye.
All right, I'm glad she came on. She's dealing with a lot. Her dog just died. Uh, what I want to go into a couple things. I'm doing a workshop the end of next month. It'll be the most important workshop ever done in the United States, I think. It'll be more important than anything else you ever heard or listened to. I'm not going to go into one subject. It's going to be all the subjects combined about why you're here, where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and all the things in between to make different things happen, which nobody talks about. And it's not your truth. There is a truth. Whether you want to find it, deal with it, or not, it's a different story. You can live in dreamland and tell yourself that you know the truth, right? Which is not true for 99% of the people on the planet. So it's going to start with birth, life, love, death, death of the body, reincarnation, or leaving the lower realms, going into the higher realms, dealing with deities, angels, demons, creatures, you name it. It's going to be a part of that as well. The alien part will be the last part of my workshop because I want to get people to a level where they are understanding what they are as soul, which is the most important thing a person can learn on this planet, which very few people can deal with or talk about. All right. And what's really going on between the mind and soul. They're separate. They're not the same. And we're not one with the universe and all those kind of things, which more people are believing. And this all started within the past 25 years with the New Age world coming out and the children, star children, indigo children, and things like that came out and rearranged people's thinking of who and what we are, the idea of walk-ins and all these new things. And we got people in the UFO world pushing it, promoting it, saying we should give birth to aliens, which people are committing or saying they're doing voluntarily and all that kind of stuff. Well, there's so much weird stuff going on. It has nothing to do with your mission on this planet. All right. This workshop's going to be at least 4 days, 2 hours each day. And then I'll probably throw in either 1 or 2 more days at the end of those days. And that I'll go into the UFO world, the aliens, and all that other stuff. But I'm going to keep it basically to why you're here, where you're going to go, what's going to happen when you leave, what you need to do, prepare and learn before you die. All right. And it's not like go to church or pray or none of those things, because that's not going to help you. Even meditation's not an answer for anything. It's that only helps you relax your mind here. It's not going to help you with the answers you need to find. So it's going to be important, people. I'm not trying to push anybody to go, but if anybody's ready to take a giant step out of the programmed idea of life, I'm suggesting you come to my workshop. I'm not doing it to make money. I'm charging some money. I want people to respect what I'm doing and what it is. But again, they're going to have a hotline number to me always. They can call me anytime, day or night, if they have problems or serious things going on. I'm not going to give people teachings and walk away from them. And I'm not going to charge them every time they have a problem. So I'm not going to be like all the other speakers and people you go and pay thousands of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of dollars to listen to them tell you, oh, you're a super being. Oh, you're a six-dimensional being. Oh, you're protected and you're this, that, and the other thing. It's all lies, people. 99.9% of everything you think you know is probably a lie. And it's not going to help you leave this world or around. And that means reincarnation. All right. And when you reincarnate, 90% of the time, you don't remember a thing about your past lives. Few souls remember one or something of one of their past lives. I remember all my past lives. I could say most of them, not all. I mean, there's a few I might have missed, I'm sure. But I'm aware of the two most important ones, which was one of the first ones and one of the middle ones. All right. And I'll go into that and why you need to be aware of your past lives. All these little things you get told and say, well, don't worry about it. No, you can wipe away your karma. You cannot, people. All right. You can think you wipe it away. You can work with your ego. You can work with your mind here. But it doesn't help you anyway in learning what you are as soul, what it does, how it travels, where it goes, and all those other things. All right. And they're things you need to learn. And there's no path out there that I know. I mean, I was in Eckankar. They teach you about soul travel, learning to get out of your body, which is a very, very, very important thing. But the gods you work with, you can't get into these other realms without going past these deities or little gods. And nobody wants to talk about that. And then again, the silver cord, nobody wants to talk about that either. All right, these important things that have to be opened up if you want to take a giant step forward. I promise you, I'll give you one technique that could save your life anytime during your life, and simple. But I mean, I'm going to give you something beneficial, no matter what you think or whatever. I promise you, you'll leave a more aware person, and you'll be looking for more truthful answers to everything you want to know or think you know. All right, reincarnate. It's a word that some religions completely ignore. All right, Buddha taught all about it. All right, and the difference is when you go through it, you have awareness of things. You don't need to go through these things over and over and over, which most souls do, because of attachment. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not trying to teach that right now, but I promise you, it'll be an eye opener. It'll help you grow mentally, spiritually. Learn to separate mind from soul. They're separate. They don't think the same, people. All right, no matter what people say, you're one with the universe. What good does that do you, really? Being one with everybody. What do you think that would do? We're living on a sick planet with 90% of the people are sick and in drugs, smoking, drinking, cursing, cheating, all those words. You wouldn't be one with them? The rapists, the murderers. You want to be part of that? You want to accept that's your consciousness? If it is, the whole universe should just blow up because it's useless and unrewarding. And if you think technology is the answer, people, it isn't. More people are trying to relate science and technology with spiritualism. They don't fit together. The laws of spiritual reality do not fit the physical laws of reality. They don't. They're different. They're totally different. All right. Tesla worked with an alien race. They gave him technology we shouldn't have had in this time frame. It'll destroy the human race eventually. Time travel is one of the worst toys to play with in the universe. All right. Billy Myers was the first really big public name person for UFOs and all that. He spent a lot of time promoting his ships and all that. He wrote 100 things that were going to happen. I think 89 of them came true within the past 50 years. But he was working with an alien race, and they're called the Pleiadians. And I mean, they're same. We got the word Pleiadians from the Pleiades. All right. People take words and mix them up. The same as the whole Anunnaki story. If you want to believe that, sorry. And if you don't want to let go of that idea, you really don't need to come to my workshop, because that is a program. All right. Who do you think wrote the Anunnaki stories? Who do you think wrote the Sumerian tablets? Who do you think wrote all those things? What were they? Why? Do you think anything written is solid in fact and truth? The Bible has very little truth in it. The time frames are pretty accurate, certain times and stuff. They don't know where Jesus was really born. They said in a manger. He wasn't born in a manger. He was born in a cave. I mean, he got married. He had a daughter. He was killed before the daughter was born, but he had a daughter. All right. And he wasn't God. He never claimed to be. All these things twisted and pulled so man could protect his own little ego. Oh, they watch over me. They protect me. They forgive me. You don't get forgiven for anything. You have to pay it back. And I'm talking with cash. Millionaires think they can buy their way into heaven. You cannot. There's a lot of things that I will be teaching people if they're ready to let go of the garbage and the programs, the sick lies over and over that they hear every single day. All right. This virus, I'm not going to go into it. I could, and I would if I was allowed to. I tell you what the serious problem about a vaccine is. But I can't. All right. The information's online, and you got to go into the different sites to find it. All right. There's a doctor that did all the research on all the vaccines with all kinds of microscopes and everything else. Purple lights, infrared, and all these different tests and everything on it to explain what's really going on with it. All right. And I can't even go into the real stories of what happened to people and families and tribes and what went on in homes, senior homes and all that. All the truth. I could talk about probably AIDS when it was created and what happened in Jersey when it started. But, this is a separate virus created. Why, how, who, where, I can't talk about that. But you need to do research. You need to find the truth of anything you believe in, anything you want to accept. Prove it. Just because 10 people say so, if the president, the Pope, the Dalai Lama all stood there and said, well, this is real. Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra all stood there and told you, this is a fact. You shouldn't believe them because they have no clue. And I can tell you this, not one of them actually got close to God. Not one of them could actually say they talk to God or even understand God. All right? Never mind the next world beyond the astral plane. The astral plane is where all souls go that leave this planet or realm. They go there for a short period of time. Then they go somewhere else, usually back to the physical world. And it's probably 10 years. But people don't want the truth. They want to believe they go to heaven and everything's beautiful. They want to believe they meet their family. Oh, let's leave here to go to another place to be with our family to do the same thing over. Soul grows. It moves and it slowly lets go of the physical body, the astral body, the mental body, and becomes a pure soul. Even that gets dropped if it wants to. I'm not going to get into all that, but it's all important stuff that you need to know in this lifetime if you don't want to reincarnate and start all over. Because when you reincarnate, even if you say, I'm going to be born in my family, you come back in your family, you're just a little baby growing in that family. You don't remember all the things you did in your past lives with your families and stuff. Very few people do. People are lucky if they remember one incarnation. There's one religion in California, he swears, he tells people he'll give them their last incarnation when they study under him. And you have to believe it, because he's not going to prove it to you. He's just going to tell you what it is. Never listen to a psychic, ever. I mean, you could use it as guidance and say, well, they kind of said this. But don't take it like they know who and what you were in all your lifetimes, because they do not know. Even if they go to the Akashic records, which is on the astral plane, people, they can't get into it unless you allow them into it. So there's a lot of things, people, that you don't know, that you deal with these people, you don't know what they're really doing. They tell you what they're doing, at least what they tell you that you want to hear what they're doing. The other thing is, all the people that say they work with angels. Gabriel isn't the biggest angel in the inner worlds. Michael ain't the biggest angel in the inner worlds. St. Peter and all those, I mean, the ones that are called angels now, there's 9 of them in the Bible. All right? They're not here talking to everybody on the planet. Their message isn't for everybody because most people don't want to hear it. So people, look, I do this with Tina because she's one of the most important people in that part of the UFO world. The UFO people outside mainstream, all of you, if you ever listen to this, are into ego and money. Let me pick that up. Hold on 1 second, please. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hi, is this Johnson?
Yes. Could I call you back in 5 minutes? Or can you call me back? I'm right in the middle. I'm ending a show that I'm doing. I'll talk to you in 5 minutes.
Very good, thank you.
Bye. Sorry, I've been waiting for that call for days, and sure she would call me right now. But people, look, anybody wants any more information, I put it some up on the chat room. Call me, text me, hawksblood1@aol.com. You want a UFO book, how to see a UFO field manual, I'll give you that free. Just text me, and if you follow it, you'll see a UFO within a short period of time. The conference is at the end of the month. I promise you it'll be a great learning if you're ready to let go of all the lies, which we have been programmed with from the day we're born. All right, people, I'm glad you tuned in. Thank you all for tuning in. Send the link to everybody you know if you can. Tina is going through a lot of things herself with the radiation. Realize we do it every week. You can't be radioactive on and off. There's no such thing on this planet with a body being partially radioactive going on and off. So what's happening with her is not anything even close to normal. She is affected by all the signs of radiation poisoning. We talk about it once in a while. She's losing her teeth. She's losing her hair. She's losing her fingernails. She's passing out. She's got all the major symptoms of radioactive poisoning. and her dog just died of it. All right. So it's not fake, people. We don't take the Geiger counters out because we want to play with them. All right. So I suggest you open your mind up and then say, hey, does that mind know everything I need to know? And it doesn't. All right. When you're ready to go a step further in life and soul, spirit, and all those words, think about coming to the workshop next month. But until next week, UFO stuff, I'd probably do another show this week about spiritualism. All right. So stay in touch. If you friend me on YouTube, you will get my links when I put them up. All right. Until next time, people, thank you for stopping in. I'm a rebel. I'm probably one of the most hardcore people in the UFO world and spiritual world as well. I'll challenge any one of them any given time, anywhere, live or not, about truth, about their truth and the real truth. Real truth you can prove. Their truth you can't. And 90% of them say, well, I think, I feel, or I think I know, whatever the excuses is for not knowing. Or they say, well, I trust this person. My truth, I experience it. I trust myself because I went through it. I had 5 death experiences, people. And I went through the beginning to the end. And I listened to all the people that say they have a death experience. They don't even know what happened. I saw my grandma, I saw my aunt, I saw Jesus, and I came back. That's what they know. They don't know where they went, what they saw, what they were doing when they went there even. There's a lot going on, people, that people don't want to put their attention on it. They rather believe making a paycheck, buying a car is the most important thing in reality. All right. I hope you got enough. We'll talk soon. I promise you, whatever you think you need to learn, I'll help you work towards to get it for yourself. I'm not going to program you like everybody else wants to. Peace, love, compassion. Till next time. Thank you for stopping in.